Earlier this morning, I came across a tweet by Rustan, and he is referring to this proposal here. I decided to have a look. This is the fourth or the fifth time I'm going through this. This is obviously more effort than this whole initiative deserves, but let's have a more detailed look. I mean, it's an interesting topic, and I must say, for community building purposes, that's a brilliant topic because it's complex enough, and there's just interesting things to think through intellectually if you have time on your hands to work on something like this. Although, personally, I think in this time and age with AI giving us all these options to build what we could never build before, I don't know if this is time well spent, but we do need some substance, and I think a little bit of extra thinking is not going to kill anyone. Let's read through the proposal real quick. So, summary: Decentraland currently lacks a clear and transparent framework for platform-wide bans. I mean, when I've read this for the very first time, I was like, okay, we are trying to onboard people. Some media outlets have made fun of the platform because there were allegedly only 38 users. And I think like for the past 3.5 years, everyone was trying to prove that actually it's much more than that. And here we go, dealing with platform-wide bans regulations. So when I read this, I was like, okay, on one hand, I find it fun. And on the other hand, I think it's important to build some capacity to deal with a situation where you have millions of users coming in and you need to be having some kind of framework. You have to be prepared. I get that perspective, let's say. But then it's just also ridiculous in some shape or form, right? I mean, do we need a framework to ban users? Like, how often have users been banned? And I'm not talking about users, I'm talking about like community members. How often? So they're talking about this one case, Jarod. I remember Jarod. I don't remember him really well, but I've seen him interact early on. And I mean, Jarod was a pain in the ass. Like, you can say whatever you want. Like, I had him hidden in Discord, and I'm not a Discord user, but it was just like you couldn't read a thread without him having a contrarian opinion on almost anything. And this is coming from me. I love to have a contrarian opinion, but even I had to say, okay, that's too much. But I was able to just hide him in Discord, and it resolved the problem immediately. And that was it. Like, you want to ban somebody on X, it's easy, no problem. Like, there's no real need to ban anyone. Uh, you want to ban somebody here in the forum? Okay, I don't know if that's possible. Actually, it probably is. So I think most users can handle it. But I don't know what he actually did. Maybe he went beyond that. And I think there are certain things you can do on a platform that will require a platform-wide ban. Some people might argue against that. And we can see some of these people here in the comments section. And I know Aaron is someone who has a very particular perspective on it. He calls out Decentraland to be a decentralized place, and that probably shouldn't be possible to do platform-wide bans. And I think if you stick to the original philosophy of Decentraland, I think he's got a point. Like, as soon as you start moderating even a little bit, you immediately introduce the question of where is the line and what is the threshold and who gets to decide. Like, there's no gray here. It's either black or white. And if you say we are going to ban, then you need to say how and why and when. And I guess that's what this proposal in the end comes down to, is to try to define that boundary so it becomes negotiable. And maybe this has a purpose. If you have time and if you have capacity, I think, and if you want to moderate, if you don't allow anything to just exist, like, and to be honest, in 2021, there was this situation when I was in Genesis Plaza and we had people screaming racist things into the ether, and they just did it all day long, and nobody could do anything about it. It was really weird. We are like at the peak of the hype, and there's just this one account screaming stuff at the spawn location. So eventually action needs to be taken, and I guess this is how some of these things become a necessity, because I guess there is also a legal question around what responsibility a foundation has or does not have. So eventually you probably have to censor a little bit, and this introduces a necessity for a framework like this. So this is how I'm understanding this now. Now, from reading this whole thing, and you probably should come here and read it yourself. I'm not going to be reading it out loud for you because I'm not the best reader and not the most entertaining. Reader. So basically what they're saying is they are asking for a vote on whether they should develop a framework or not. Is this what's going on here? This is what it sounds like. Should the Decentraland DAO develop a governance framework? And then it goes on to explain all the banning criteria. When I first read this, I had to laugh out loud because I can't tell in a lot of detail why anymore, because I kind of gave my word to be quiet about this. But it is ridiculous in a sense. I mean, building out a whole framework on how to ban people, and there was like one person probably ever banned. Like, is this like, this is not a problem that needs solving. Like, if you have a problem of hundreds of people who are misbehaving and need banning, then this is necessary. But if I read Rustan's comment here, it's about one person that they want to have unbanned. And at the same time, the proposals mentions that user here as well. And they say that it was prompted by the case of a user. So basically this whole thing came about on a request, from what I understand, of Rustan and some other people, I guess. They asked for this to be drafted by the, I don't know, by the DAO team. How do they call themselves now? I don't remember their name. Like, they have a new name. What's the name now? I can't find it. Well, they have a cool sounding name now. So in any case, I mean, I should be able to reproduce their name. I've been seeing them so often now. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Regenesis Labs, DCL Regenesis Labs. I'm not going to claim that I understand if this is just a renaming of the DAO team or if there is more to it. Maybe somebody can educate me in the comments. But basically, Rustam requested a proposal so that the community can say that, yes, the framework should be developed. If we ban people, why and how we can unban them. I guess motivated by the idea, and I understood this only later, reading this comment here at the bottom, that it's to free this account to come back to events. Now, the user does not want to create a new account. The user wants to come with this banned account to the events. This is what I understand, because why not just take 2 seconds, create a new account, and go back in? Like, why go through all of this trouble here? Other than community building, which I think is an awesome way of doing it. But then also here they're talking about that users can circumvent measures and whether this is effective or not. I mean, and what kind of question is this? I mean, obviously, on Web3, everyone can just create a new account and start fresh 15 times a day, and you can't do anything about it. The only thing you have is the reputation that's stored in the account. And you can't handle assets to be transferred. So you can just sell them or transfer them to another account. If you want to go and police people circumventing that and creating a new account, transferring assets over, I mean, is this time well spent? I don't think this can possibly be a foundation or a DAO Regenesis Labs job to police who transferred assets where. This can't be solved like that. So then what do they want? I'm trying to understand what is this and why do they think it's important and what they want. And then the other thing that came to my mind is that, okay, so now let's say we formalize a way of what it takes to ban someone. So now we have a clear set of rules that others can come and say, oh, Swiss, he made this mistake and he said that and he didn't do this. This is now sufficient enough to ban him. So then what would that mean? Would there be some kind of DAO vote to ban a user? And who is going to decide that? Like, I don't know, one person with a lot of mana? Or what exactly is the best possible outcome of this? Let's say they free Jarod, this guy. He gets to go to an event. He gets to go to a party with his account with which he insulted half of Decentraland. Now he goes back to the party. And now what's the consequence of this, right? So because now you have a whole framework on how to ban users from the platform that is formalized and let's say weaponized. It's just sitting there to be used and probably attached to a DAO vote, which is controlled by bigger wallets. We know how DAO works. That's their essence. And so what exactly are you guys creating? There's some one dude who was going and spamming and attacking everybody, who actually supported some initiatives that I was also in favor of. So I'm not being unbiased here, but this guy was aggressive. And to be honest, I enjoyed every moment of it. I can't say I did not, and I didn't care. But I know people were extremely sensitive about this, and some of those people had some serious issues as well. Like, you have to remember, we are on the internet. There's a lot of people with a lot of issues, and you cannot, for the most part, you cannot be normal and survive it. You have to be a bit on the extreme side yourself to stay healthy, because people are acting for the most part without their real identity attached. So they feel they can do much more than they would if they would have their identity attached. And this is the big trade-off. Like, you don't get to benefit in your real life from any reputation you gain here, but also you don't worry about it that much. But people are completely insane on the internet. If you haven't experienced that yet, you're probably not doing enough. So people, everyone posts a little bit what they think about it. I've posted my 2 cents here as well. To be honest, I had a hard time formulating this into something that is totally coherent. But in the end of the day, I think it's important that it's as hands-off as possible. You decide on your own land, you decide in your own world. The downside of you deciding, of course, is that tomorrow somebody with some extremist views comes in, builds a world, gets 100 people in, and they do weird stuff on that server. Do you still have the right to come in and do something as the foundation? Well, if we want to say no, the landowner and the world owner gets to decide, and the foundation has no business doing that, well, then you don't come around crying if some opposing view to what you believe is suddenly mobilizing inside some kind of Decentraland world, because this will happen, right? So, of course, some legal obligation may still be there, or at least some risk for the foundation to be able to have a button to still switch off certain things going on your land, on their platform. So that causes a natural problem. The natural problem is that you can't have, as soon as you start moderating, you will always have to make a decision what is too much and what is up to the landowners and the world owners. So this decision doesn't really go away. So the easier solution is just to push the decision to the users and make it their responsibility as much as possible. That would be the ideal outcome. But it's tough. I think there are other things you need to consider. And at some point, I think it's just easier to exclude someone than to deal with their particular case. And I think most big platforms eventually resort to this. I don't want to deal with your edge case. It might be still fine. But to be honest, there's 1,000 or 100,000 people like you. And I'm not going to dedicate special employee or lawyer just to figure out whether you are enough of a special case. It's just easier to ban people. So I think in the end of the day, people do this not because they have to, it's just because it's easier at scale. So that's a difficult one. Users, they can decide who they block. That's the easiest solution. Maybe this is what should be focused on, you know? The foundation should have the ability to act. You don't want to be living in a place where no one can take action and everything requires a vote. And then there is the same time people coming together and trying to vote on something like not representing the community, not representing anyone. It's just you happen to know that there is a vote and nobody else did. And you went and you voted. And a big entity did not come and override you because they were asleep that day. So I don't know. I mean, the community can discuss the principles. I think this is really interesting, and I love that we are doing that. I think that's great. But what I'm missing is some kind of sober view. This can't be about this Jarod guy. I mean, it's a nice example. But honestly, like, create a new account and let the guy be. Isn't this what would happen? Like, do you think anybody from the foundation is going to come after a Jarod X account? No, nobody would come after him. Okay, so he circumvented the ban. Nobody cares. People are building. No, nobody cares. It's the most exciting time in human history. Nobody cares about Jarod coming in with a Jarod X account. Are you joking? It's out of principle. It's out of principle, and I don't think there is a defensible principle. Although, to be honest, like maybe you can go and dig up, and maybe Jarod was this angel who never insulted people, who didn't disrupt every possible way he could. Maybe he wasn't. I haven't participated directly. I've seen some of it, not the majority of it. So I'm not going to claim. It's so easy to be wrong and to assume things. I've been the victim of making these mistakes many times already. I don't want to assume anything. But to be honest, I think if it happens for a reason. What else do we have? Well, I think this is it. You know, initially I came in here and I thought, wow, they are trying to formalize a banning process. But turns out that this banning process is designed to create surface to bring back Jarod under the pretext of also building a larger purpose vehicle that might serve other people to get banned or maybe get unbanned. How many banned people are there? 0, 1, 2. So all of this is to unban 1 or 2 people. And I don't know who that second person is. But it's also there to ban anybody else who is going to come. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. It's an interesting topic, but yeah, I'm not going to further invest any energy into this beyond that. I think it's a non-issue, and we'll see what happens.